What makes a good romance anime? We all have thought about that question, and today I have an answer for y'all. In this video, I've made some points after seeing some very good and some very bad animes for you to go through before you watch the next big thing your friend is constantly telling you to watch. This may seem very obvious, but many anime don't follow this simple rule. A moving plot is crucial for an anime to do well, especially the 12 or 22 episode animes need to follow this. My friend recently told me to watch Days with My Stepsister, and being a good friend, I did start it, 3-4 episodes in, and still there is no clear direction for the story. I tell my friend about it, and he's like, oh no, you at least have to watch 6 or 7 episodes, then it gets very good. And I'm like, you serious? You're telling me that I have to see this dog shit just to see if it's worth it or not? And yeah, of course, some of y'all are going to scream in the comments on how it's the best piece of fiction created, but I don't care. So the moving plot is a top most, not only for romance animes, but animes and fiction in general too. This is a big one, and I think most new animes lack in this department, which is a proper plot twist. Okay, hear me out, guys. A change in pace of the story is the best way to end an anime, which I think we all will agree on. Best examples of such anime are Your Lie in April, or I Wanna Eat Your Pancreas. But yeah, it doesn't need to have a dramatic twist as they have, giving trauma to 1 billion people. But at least a mild switch which gives the story a proper progression, something like Weathering with You or Your Name. These have a mild switch to the story which in return makes them as popular they are. Because it's not about how huge the twist is, it's about how it gives the story a proper finish. Okay, now we're talking about the real stuff, which actually makes a romance anime stand out. The first is a proper atmosphere and direction for the story. Don't you know those animes where the entire reason you watch them is because of their beautiful animation or a crazy music track? Personally, I clicked on Erased because everyone was talking about the music. The only reason I watched The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity is because the animation was absolutely beautiful. Of course, they have many other factors like storyline and stuff, which makes them even better. But a great atmosphere builds the stage for the storyline. And how could you forget the god of atmosphere and direction, the Garden of Words? If I had to sum up this point, it's just this anime. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Go see it now. But I know if you have seen this, you know what I'm talking about. It's something you can't express in words. Those quiet moments say more than the dialogue itself. I think many singles will probably be happy now. Because the next point is that there needs to be a balance between romance and life, which I think many animes are just neglecting. A person has so many stuff to care about, like school, career, family. But our protagonist almost always doesn't care about anything else but his girl. I feel animes like Your Lie in April make a good story because the romance is an add-on to Arima's life, and his main focus was always on his piano. This is what makes a story actually relatable. I know it's not an ending we'd like, but it shows you something that no other anime does. A quiet kid with a passion first and then everything else. That's the only reason it's one of my favorite animes till this day. And that's the reason why a story where the romance is a side quest and not the entirety of the anime will always do well. But I know there are some which can pull it off. Something like Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie. I saw this anime back in the day when I was 15, and it was the best thing I had seen. I don't know if it's just nostalgia for me, but I really think it did a good job of developing both of the characters even without a unique storyline. So this is something I keep in mind if I want to find a great one. It is a clear emotional core for the story. What is the story about? Is it about two people growing apart or together? Is it about healing over the long term? Or is it about fear of being alone? A great emotional story is 5 centimeters per second. It has a clear and concise theme of how people drift apart and carry on with their life. A clear way of showing how time is the best healer. I am going to add another point here. The story, when having an emotional core, also should have an earned payoff. What I mean is that the relationship conclusion should feel deserved. Even though it may be devastating, it needs to be sensible and natural. A prime example of this is I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. It shows us that even sad endings can be satisfying if they're honest. Of course, the way it ended wasn't satisfying, but the overall conclusion was that Haruki didn't have to witness Sakura slowly drift apart. And the way it shows the unfair nature of life, how it gives sadness to the most cheerful people, is beautifully shown in the story. At the end, I just would tell you, there's so much to watch that you'll never finish everything. Well, if you're not a psychopath. So a key way I pick any anime is if I have a general feel for it or not. I saw a very unknown anime called Kokoro Connect. I have never seen anyone talk about it. I just was Googling animes and it caught my attention. No YouTube commentary, no friend telling me to watch, totally random. And the story is low-key similar to Your Name, where the group of friends keep switching bodies and they can see what the other person actually thinks about them. There are many layers to it, and I watched it as one of my first animes back in the day, so it has faded away from my memory. But I'd highly recommend you check it out, it's pretty good. If you do go and check it out, let me know in the comment section. I'd love to recommend a few more to you. Drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.